Welcome to the last stage of cell respiration. This is a big, fat, fancy word called oxidative phosphorylation, but really what it is, it's the electron transport chain. And the purpose of this is basically to use the coal, which you should now know that the coal is the electrons and protons that came from the entire dismantling of glucose from glycolysis to the Krebs cycle, and use that coal to power a little mini turbine that basically phosphorylates ADP into ATP, which is a big fancy word that means to put a phosphate group back on used up ADP to become ATP, because ATP is reusable. And so let's take a look at this system. It's fairly complex, but I'm just going to go over the overview with you. So there is right there, you can see, oh, look what just happened. That was a choo-choo train, and here comes another choo-choo train. Right here, you can see, watch what's going to happen to NAD right here. It's going to drop off, bam. And you can see right here, it's dropping off the electrons. And those electrons you're going to watch are going to go along this membrane. And there they are right there, and they're getting passed over here, and now they're over here, and there's the electrons, and then they end up going down here and making molecular water. So we're going to see this closer, and that's part of it. And then there's these little beads flying up, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. So let's take a little bit of a closer look to kind of get a sense of what's going on. And so here we are. So ready? First thing we see is, boom, those electrons and got released from NAD. And now, of course, it's going to go across, and there they are, and those electrons are going to go across the entire membrane. And they're going to end up at the bottom here, mixing with some hydrogen and some oxygen to make molecular water. So that's where the water comes from. That's not the kind of water that like makes your body like wet. I mean, that's from drinking. It's just basically a byproduct of it. It's molecular water. So that's not the major reason we're doing this. So you will see that there's these little blue ball things kind of getting pushed across. You can see them. And the reason why they're getting pushed across, if I back up a little bit in the video here, is that this entire membrane is going to have a negative charge to it. And the reason why is that these electrons just keep flying over here, so the whole membrane's negative. The H's that the trains dropped off are down here, and so what's going to happen is, as this area is positive, the H's are going to be attracted to the membrane, and they're going to start to move up. But of course, there's nothing to stop them, so they literally go all the way across to the other side. And here are now a huge concentration of plus protons. Now, if you remember something about basic chemistry, the same charge does not want to be near each other. So all of these H's here that have been pushed up here because they were attracted to the membrane down here, they're all kind of squeezed in. It's almost like all the north end of magnets. They don't want to be near each other. And so as they move around to kind of get away and repel each other, there's only one way they can really go. And they can end up diffusing down this thing right here called ATP synthase. I don't care if you know the name of it. But really what this is doing is it's a little mini molecular turbine that, as the H's fly down here, it uses the energy of their movement to phosphorylate ATP or ADP. See all these starbursts? That's all the ATP. So it makes a lot of them. 32 to 34 ATP per glucose is produced in this stage. So that's why humans really need to breathe air. Glycolysis doesn't require oxygen, but we only get 2 ATP out of it, and that's not enough for us to live. Organisms like bacteria and some yeast can live with doing just glycolysis, but we can't. We need such a higher amount. And so that's why we do this entire system. So if we take a look, there it is, just pumping out huge amounts of ATP all the time. And this happens very, very quick. So all that ATP is then fed to wherever the muscles need it. There it is, coming out of the mitochondria into the muscles to allow the muscles to contract and allow the biker to do his thing. I hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck.